Well, good morning, Arkansas, for probably the fifth time. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Cameron here once again. I'm here to give you guys a live update going over this ongoing tornado warning once again for our folks down here in southern Arkansas. So let's dive straight into the details and let's go over what we got at this point. So tornado warning for Calhoun County and southwestern Arkansas until 12:45 this afternoon. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 9 miles south of Highland Industrial Park, or 10 miles north of Smackover, the same storm that we were just watching with the previous live stream. And I mentioned that Smackover would have to watch it closely, and it moved away from Smackover, and it's now moving towards Hampton here, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour here. So has a tornado source radar indicated rotation at this current time. So this is going to go for the following: Hampton's Airport, and Tisman, also towards Delhi, Locust Bayou, and also the Woodbury area over here. So take your tornado precautions now. If you know anyone in Hampton or in Tisman that need to be taking their tornado precautions, immediately get away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately at this current time here. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and take a look at our rotation indicator here, and it's clear as day once again, where the green and red combine as one, that's where your tornado threat is going to be at this current time here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put a track on this storm. If you know the one in Hampton, they need to be seeking shelter immediately here. So give me 1 second. This is moving to the northeast at about, I'm going to clock at about 35 miles per hour here. So there's the area of rotation right here. We're going to move this to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour, and it's going to go for Hampton. Hampton, you've got about, I would say, roughly less than 15 to 20 minutes. I know the radar is saying 12:24, but I do believe it's going to be a little bit less than that to kind of account for the speed of the storm. Tisman, I would say right around that same time frame. You have a little bit after 12:30 this afternoon. Take those tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to you on the outside as possible. Get to the lowest area of your home immediately here. Now, I do realize this is in southeastern Arkansas. A lot of people have mobile homes and stuff like that out here in southeastern Arkansas. If you cannot evacuate the mobile home and try to find a much sturdier shelter, that could be like a local Walmart, local grocery store, gas station, etc. If those options are not available to you, then you need to find something sturdy to get under in the mobile home, and you need to get something to protect your head. We're talking a helmet, we're talking a pillow, etc. Something to protect your head from potential head trauma here if you cannot get out of the mobile home. But the first thing is making sure that you're able to get out and find a much sturdier shelter close by. And that goes for Hampton and the Tisman area at this current time here. So this is going to go right over Highway 278. This is east of Camden, northeast of Smackover, north of Calhoun, west and southwest of Warren at this time here. And I do believe for our folks in Warren, I would watch this storm very closely here as it pushes out towards north and east here. But this is south of Fordyce at this time here. So Highway 167 that runs from El Dorado to Hampton to Fordyce, especially in that area, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately here. And this is going to continue to move out towards the northeast as well. So what we're going to do here is just kind of give everybody perspective. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the county so you guys can kind of get a look on what we're looking at. So to repeat, tornado warning now for Calhoun County. It is going to go until 12:45 this afternoon. Not 12:45, excuse me. I do believe that's going to go, 12:45. I had it correct. 12:45 this afternoon for Calhoun County. This is going to go into Bradley and Cleveland counties down the road. Now, like I said before, I wouldn't be shocked if there was like some sort of an extension of the warning down here towards Cleveland and Bradley County here. And it's going to make its way ever so closely to Lincoln County. Once again, you guys were under a tornado warning earlier. Same storm coming your way here just a little bit. And northwestern Drew County. It should stay northwest of Monticello. Should stay to the north and west of Warren. But I want to say with Warren, I would watch it closely for any kind of deviations in this track for it to go a little bit to the east. All it takes is that right-hand turn, and it goes straight for Warren in those areas here. So Warren, I would go ahead, have that mindset of having that tornado precaution in place. If you know anyone that's on Highway 63 going northbound from Warren up into Pine Bluff, make sure they're staying weather aware. Make sure they're paying attention to this storm, because the storm's going to be moving right over Highway 63 here in a little bit. But locally, short term, it is now down here in Calhoun County. The area of rotation itself, or where the potential tornado would be, it will be right there on Highway 278, which is west west of Hampton, moving northeast. So Hampton, continue to take those tornado precautions. I will say, unless there's some deviation in this track to go more easterly, I think it may miss downtown Hampton. However, we will have to watch it closely here. But if you're in Tisman, it's going to go right over you. So if you're in Tisman, you need to be seeking those tornado precautions immediately at this point. So it's going to go right over 278. It's right over 278 right now. And then it's going to move towards the Tisman area here before too much long here. But it's going to cross Highway 167 here. So if you're going from Hampton up into near Fordyce, you need to be getting ready to take those tornado precautions. If you're traveling right now, I do realize it is lunchtime. Everybody's, going out for lunch breaks and stuff like that. If you're out and about and a tornado warning does get issued, you've got to get out of that car. You've got to find some sort of sturdy shelter. That could be a restaurant. That could be a grocery store somewhere, local business. Find that shelter. If that is not possible to you, then you have to get out, find a ditch, cover your head. You do not want to be in a vehicle if a tornado touches down. Same thing if you're going towards an overpass. You do not want to seek shelter under an overpass. I want to stress that right now, guys. So, tornado warning is in effect for Calhoun County. The storm is moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Also, I know there's a lot of people asking, not getting your questions answered and stuff like that. I urge you guys so much. We're not ignoring anyone, okay? We promise. We get it. It's kind of blindsided everybody with the severe threat today. We're not ignoring anyone. We've got your question along with a million other questions we've got to get to. You're not being ignored. We just can't get to you. So please keep that in mind, guys. I get the frustration, but please keep that in mind at this point, okay? So there's the tornado warning at this point. This severe thunderstorm warning. The newest update now is tornado possible. So that's going to go for Fordyce. Go towards Banks. This is in Calhoun County mainly, but I would say over towards the Banks area over here. This is going to be, give me 1 second, that's going to be over here in Bradley County, Cleveland County over here, and I zoom this out. It's going to go for far southeastern Dallas County as well here. So if you know anyone in Hampton or traveling on that 167 area coming out from, I know this is a real good highway coming from El Dorado up into the metro. If you know anybody that's on 167 right now, kind of making that journey towards the metro and having to go through Hampton, between Hampton and Fordyce, they need to be seeking your tornado precautions immediately, okay? And as I mentioned before, if you're out traveling, find that local gas station. There's a couple of gas stations between Hampton and Fordyce. There's some local businesses as well. If you cannot find those businesses in time, you got to get out of the car. You got to take that tornado precautions. Also, getting out of the car, making sure you find a ditch and something protecting your head. So keep that in mind across the board. But that's right there, just to the southwest of Hampton, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour here. Okay. Now, also other areas across the state. So before we're not ignoring anyone else across the state. I do realize we've got ongoing thunderstorms across the board, but this is where it's going to take the priority right now. It's the tornado warning. So you gotta realize that tornado warning is a threat to life and property. So that's going to be right here in Calhoun County, northwestern Bradley, and Cleveland County. Also, we've got other storms moving through the area. Little Rock, got some heavy thunderstorms moving through right now. Some gusty winds were reported here in the metro as well. I do have some gusty winds outside of the weather center as well, up to 20 miles per hour at this point. So this is moving through. Once this line has pushed through your area, and this is going to go for much of western Arkansas, not taking anything away from the tornado warning at this point, just kind of trying to ease some minds. And a lot of people heard a severe threat today and just now hearing about it instead of hearing about it over the last couple of days. This is what we got, okay? So if you're west of this line, that is going to go for the following: Fayetteville, Mount Home, Fort Smith, Mena, Nashville, Texarkana, I-30, I-40 westbound, much of western Arkansas. You're good to go. You're good to go for the rest of the day. You're going to be fine. Eastern Arkansas, southeastern Arkansas in particular, you need to stay weather aware for today. The potential tornadoes will be there along with the damaging wind threat as well. The damaging wind threat will be there as well. We've had a lot of reports of trees down and stuff like that, so keep that in mind across the board. But the tornado warning still remains in effect. So I'm not taking anything away from the tornado warning, just kind of easing some minds right now. But if you're in western Arkansas, you're good. Here in Little Rock, this threat is quickly ending for us here in Little Rock. So we're good to go. I expect some tornado watches that we're back out here in southwest Arkansas to start dropping off soon. But there could be an extension of the watch going into eastern and the northeastern Arkansas as time progresses here. So just kind of wanted to give you guys that little bit of a perspective to kind of ease some minds out there, because I know a lot of people are kind of worried about what's going on here. So we got a tornado warning to repeat for Calhoun County. That's going to go until 12:45 this afternoon, moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Hampton, it is about to be on top of you in the next 10 minutes, if not already here. The area of rotation should be right in here. Let's go back over to our rotation here. Okay, it's going to be right here. It's going to be just to the west and southwest of Hampton. And I will say this, I do believe this should stay mainly away from downtown Hampton, but there's a lot of people that live on 167, a lot of people that live on the west side of Hampton over here. Make sure you're taking your tornado precautions, guys. Stay safe out there for today here. Now, we do have a new update to this tornado warning here, so let me double check that real quickly here. So the tornado warning remains in effect until 12:45 for northeastern Calhoun County. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Hampton, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. This is going to be moving towards the Hampton area, so tree damage is likely. Tornado watch is still in effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon for southeastern Arkansas. It still remains for southwest, but I do believe southwest Arkansas threat is now over, and it's now shifting into eastern and southeastern Arkansas here. So Hampton, Tisman, Woodbury, and Ellisville over here in southeastern Arkansas, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. So what do we mean by that? That means moving into a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. You got to get away from the windows as well. If you're outside, like I said before, this is lunch. So everybody may be outside getting lunch and stuff like that. If you're outside and you're a mobile home in a vehicle, you got to find that closest substantial shelter. Protect yourself from the potential of flying debris here. So to repeat, tornado warning now in effect until 12:45 for our folks in northeastern Calhoun County at this current time. Severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. It's going to go for Calhoun, southeastern Dallas, and southeastern Washita counties. A severe thunderstorm was located near Highland Industrial Park, 8 miles west of Hampton, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Penny-sized hail and the potential of a tornado will be possible for this entire storm. This is going to go for Fordyce, Hampton, Bearden, Thornton, also Highland Industrial Park, Hampton's Airport, and also towards Tisman and Woodbury. So make sure you're taking those tornado precautions. The biggest thing is tornado watch remains in effect till 4 o'clock. For your protection, moving into your interior room on the lowest floor of your building. That's just to protect you from the potential of the tornado and the high winds. And also, one more thing to kind of throw at you. I know you guys are getting a lot of information. Torrential heavy rainfall is occurring with the storm, which may lead to flash flooding. The flooding threat is there for today, so keep that in mind here. It's not as widespread as it was with the last event, but the flooding threat is still there for today, so just kind of keep that in mind across the board. But that's going to go for Calhoun County, and it's going to make its way towards Cleveland County as well here. Okay, so Blaze, one of our moderators on Discord, he's giving us a report about what's going on. We're seeing an area of concern developing along the line in southern Cato Parish. We'll be watching this storm closely. That's going to move into this area here. So that is down here in southeastern, southern Union County, coming into Union County at this point with this severe thunderstorm warning down here. And then we have this one going on in Calhoun Parish here. So this one up here is quickly falling apart, which is great news. As I said before, this is moving into southeastern Arkansas. The environment is still trying to get going for the potential of seeing severe weather. And I want to make this clear too. It's not just a tornado threat that we're looking at, folks. We never said this was going to be an outbreak or anything like that. The tornado threat is there. How long with the damage and wind threat? And also the flooding threat. So make sure you're paying attention to the wind and the flooding threat as well. It's not just, tornado or nothing. You got to pay attention to the wind and flooding threat as well here. Now, I will say this. The flooding threat, given the progressive nature of this line, shouldn't be that big of an issue. However, we will watch for trailing storms over the next couple of hours, and that could lead to some localized flash flooding here. But anyways, the tornado warning down here, and I do believe, let me confirm that, tornado warning has been dropped for that area. However, we're going to stay on that storm. Severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, still remains in effect until 12:30 this afternoon. So until this severe warning has been allowed to be dropped, we're going to continue to monitor this storm over the next couple of minutes here. Now, I'm going to take your attention to southeastern Columbia and southwestern Union County. This storm right here we're going to have to watch very closely here. This is going to go right for the Junction City area, and this may make a run for our folks in El Dorado. This is going to be something that we're going to have to watch closely. This is another area of rotation down here that is just to the northeast of Haynesville, south and west of Junction City, and southwest of El Dorado. It is a severe thunderstorm warning as of right now. However, we're continuing to monitor the situation closely, and we will keep you guys updated on that potential here. Okay, so as of now, this is what we've got. No tornado warnings on the board at this point, but we're staying live to kind of give you guys a little bit of a perspective of what's going on here. And I'm going to monitor this storm while we're still monitoring this one here. You have a tornado warning down here, by the way, for our folks down here in Louisiana, North Louisiana, just south and east of Shreveport at this current time. Now, let's go back over to our radar, kind of ease some minds out there, because I know a lot of people are kind of, anxiety is going to the roof. Everybody's just not hearing about the severe threat, and that's what I was mentioning. Next week's important. Next week's awesome, and we'll get more into that once we get past today. But today's important as well. Severe threat is important, so keep that in mind. Okay, so that's going to be the tornado warning down here in Louisiana. That's just gotten updated. So for our folks here in Arkansas, this is what we've got at this point. So I'm going to zoom this out and show you guys a perspective of what's going on. This entire line of storms is moving east and northeast towards towards eastern and northeastern Arkansas. This is going to continue to move that way. And if you're in western Arkansas, southwestern Arkansas, and northwestern Arkansas, you're good to go. If you're behind that yellow line, you're good. That's going to go for the metro. That's going to go for Arkadelphia, Texarkana, Mena, Russellville, Fort Smith, Fayetteville, Mount Home. Those areas in western and northern Arkansas, you are good to go. I want to stress that right now. However, for our folks in southern Arkansas right now here, southern, southeastern Arkansas, up into this area. As a matter of fact, let's do this. While we have that up, let's take a look at your instability. So this is where your instability is greatest down here in southeastern Arkansas. So this is where your concern is going to be over the next couple of hours down here in southeastern Arkansas. But you will have to watch northeastern Arkansas closely because of the warm front placement. So watch it closely. As mentioned before, we're going to continue to monitor you guys down here in southeastern Arkansas. You're not forgotten about. A lot of people down here don't have a lot of weather coverage and stuff like that. Send them to us. This is what we do here, guys. Okay, so this is what we've got. This is the area of concern down here in southeast Arkansas, northeast Arkansas. You're not being forgotten either. We're going to monitor you guys up there as well, especially with the warm front placement. But if you're in western Arkansas, if you're here in the metro, points west, we're talking Russellville, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Mena, Texarkana, all those areas in western Arkansas, you're good. You can go about your day without having to worry about a severe threat. The storms have passed through your area, and you're good to go. Eastern and southeastern Arkansas is where the concern is going to be throughout the rest of your afternoon hours here. So we're going to continue to monitor this storm closely. It is still a severe thunderstorm warning tornado possible. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so all right, we're going with a tornado warning for the area of rotation in northern Claiborne Parish. This is headed for southwestern Union County. So now we have a tornado warning inbound for our folks in southwestern Union County, and there it is. So now we have a new tornado warning, and this is going to go for our folks in Junction City and downtown El Dorado. If you know anyone in these areas, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately here. So as I mentioned before, breaking news, we have a new tornado warning in place, and I'm going to read you guys this. Tornado warning for western Union County in southern Arkansas, southeastern Columbia County, northeastern Claiborne Parish. A new tornado warning has been issued until 1:15 this afternoon. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located southwest, 7 miles southeast of Atlanta, or 13 miles west of Junction City, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. The potential of a tornado is there, and this is going to go for the following. Westons coming at you at 12:45. Downtown El Dorado is coming at you at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and Northland around 1:05. Take your tornado precautions immediately. If you know anyone between Junction City and downtown El Dorado, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to unity outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately here. So we're going to go ahead and zoom down on this storm. Blaze, thank you so much for giving me that heads up notice with that tornado warning in the Discord server. But this is what we've got. So the area of rotation is right here. Let's go back and zoom. Let's go to the Shreveport's radar if it's not offline. Let's go to this real quick so we'll have a better perspective when we're looking at here. And bear me for just a bit. So before, I come from El Dorado, so I'm going to give my folks a heads up real fast here while I'm doing live coverage here. But this is what we've got. Tornado warning in place for this area here. So give me 1 second. Let me make a post real fast on my side here. Tornado warning for El Dorado until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, until 1 p.m. Got it. All right, so tornado warning in place. I've gotten that out. So this is where the area flotation is going to be at this point. So this is west of Johnson City right now, moving northeast. It's going to go right there on Highway 15, and it's going to make its way towards El Dorado. So if you know anybody in downtown El Dorado right now, they need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to uni outside as possible, and get to the lowest area of your home immediately at this current time here. So there's the area rotation here. Let's go ahead and get the rotation marker up for you guys so you guys kind of get a visual on what we're looking at here. Okay, so there's the area of rotation right there, coming out of Louisiana, coming into southwestern Union County, and it's going to be moving northeast here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a track on the storm. But downtown El Dorado, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. So we're going to clock this right around 40 miles per hour. Give me 1 second. There it is. So downtown El Dorado, you have less than 25 to 30 minutes. Take your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to uni outside as possible. Get to the lowest area of your home immediately here. Okay, so this is what we got at this point. So before, this is something, if you're just not tuning in, I'm Assistant Chief Forecaster Cameron. This is what we've got at this point. There's a tornado warning in place for our folks down here in southwestern Arkansas and southern Arkansas. This is going to go for Union County, for our folks in El Dorado. And I got a lot of friends and a lot of family down there in El Dorado. Take your tornado precautions immediately. Don't wait for this storm to come into El Dorado or anything like that. You need to go ahead and seek shelter immediately if you're in El Dorado at this current time here. Also, Junction City, just should stay to your north and west. However, watch for any kind of deviations in this track to the east. That could impact those areas as well. But if you know anybody that's traveling from Junction City to El Dorado, Highway 167, and I want to keep this in mind too, this is lunch. Everybody's getting out for lunch. You know, a lot of businesses and stuff, they're out for lunch breaks. If you're out on lunch right now, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. If you're traveling right now on Highway 167 or you're traveling in downtown El Dorado, you need to find some substantial shelter. And I know a lot of businesses on Northwest Avenue that you can stop. There's a Brookshire's, there's other grocery stores that you can stop at. There's gas stations that you can stop at. Take your tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. So watch this storm closely. And there it is. There's the area of rotation right here. What we're going to do is we're going to go over to our debris indicator at this time here. Luckily, at this moment, I'm not seeing any sort of sign of a debris ball, which is great news. However, you still need to take your tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. So we're just going back over to our area of rotation. There it is. As clear as day down here in southwestern Arkansas here. There it is right there on Highway 15. That's going to move northeast towards El Dorado. So if you know anyone in El Dorado, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately at this current time. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom this out so you guys kind of get a perspective on what we're looking at here. So this is going to go right into El Dorado, downtown El Dorado, and it's going to go right into Bradley County, excuse me. So this is going to move towards those areas. If you know anyone in Callion, over here in El Dorado, and also let's zoom this down, kind of give you guys a perspective of what we're looking at. So this is going to go for Highway 167, Highway 82 over here, Highway 63 that runs right out of El Dorado up into Bradley County. Also Highway 167 once again. You guys are under the gun for the potential of seeing a tornado here. So there's the area of rotation right in there. Anyone in downtown El Dorado needs to be taking your tornado precautions immediately at this current time here, okay? And as I mentioned before, this is what we got. We're not taking anything away from this storm up here in Calhoun County at this time here. So thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, still continues for the next minute. I do believe they're going to let this one go, and all focus is going to go for the one down here in Union County. So to repeat, tornado warning is going to be in place. I do believe I kind of botched that up on my personal one. So it's going to go until 1:15 instead of 1 o'clock. Give me 1 second. Let me go edit that real fast. So it's going to go until 1:15 this afternoon. Give me 1 second here. All right, so there it is. So yeah, so it's going to go to 115 this afternoon. It's going to go right into El Dorado at this time. So if you know anyone in those areas that need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately here. So as of right now, I'm not seeing any signs of this thing being on the ground or any damage reports being issued or anything like that. That is amazing news. However, if you're in this tornado warning, don't wait for a confirmation. Don't wait to see it or anything like that. Take your tornado precautions immediately at this current time, especially for our folks in El Dorado, especially if you live on the south and eastern side of El Dorado at this current time here. That's the biggest thing I want to stress to you guys at this point. As I mentioned before, I got a lot of friends, a lot of family members are in this live stream right now. I'm urging you guys, take your tornado precautions right now at this point. So we're going to continue to monitor it closely here. Just going to go right into downtown El Dorado here. Let's zoom this down, give you guys some road networks that we're looking at here. I've also got my other friends that are keeping me updated on Discord at this point. Let me see here, double checking everything at this time here. So the tornado warning is still in progress for our folks down here in Union County at this time here. But let's take a look at this. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch this over to our rotation here, okay, so you guys can kind of get a visual on where the area of rotation is. And right now, as it stands, it's right there on Jones Loop or just to the west of Highway 15 down here in southwestern Union County. This is quickly moving to the northeast here, so it's going to move towards Three Creeks Road over here in Three Creeks. I got a lot of family members there. Take your tornado precautions immediately. Also, this is going to move towards the County Road 34. This is going to track along Highway 15, and then it's going to go into the El Dorado area here. So make sure you're taking your tornado precautions immediately, guys. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to unity outside as possible, and get away from windows here. And I do realize we may have some technical issues. Thank you for letting me know on there here. It should be coming back up here in just a little bit. That may be because of the storms ongoing here in the metro, kind of interfering with the internet here. But if you know anyone in this area, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. Okay, so there it is. We should be good to go now in terms of the internet here, guys. So I do apologize for technical issues that may be from the storms kind of moving through the area at this point. But right here in Union County, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately at this time here. So tornado warning for southeastern Columbia County has been canceled. However, the tornado warning still remains in effect for our folks in Union County until 1:15 this afternoon here. So if the stream is buggy, I do apologize for that. But okay, we're good now. All right, so we're good. We're all good now. So El Dorado is going to be right on top of you around 12:55. Northlet right around 1:05, and in the western area right around 1 o'clock this afternoon here. So if you know anybody in these areas, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. And I'm talking the entire town of El Dorado. Not just the southern and eastern side. I'm talking the entire town of El Dorado. You need to be taking your tornado precautions now. The entire city of El Dorado is now under this tornado warning at this point. So let's take a look at this real quickly here. Let's go back over to our rotation indicator real fast. And there it is right there on Highway 15, moving northeast towards the El Dorado area here. It's going to go from Highway 167, Highway 63, and Highway 82 over here as well. And I will say this, down the stream from here, I will watch this closely as it moves towards the county area and try to make its way into Bradley County. So Bradley County right now, you're not under the warning, you're not under anything. Use this time wisely. Use that 30 to 40 minute heads up time wisely. Say, hey, this is a tornado warning. It's ongoing. We'll have to keep an eye on it at this current time here. But this is just to the southwest of El Dorado, and boy, there's your area of rotation. Let's do this real quickly here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to what's called our gate-to-gate shear real quickly here. It's kind of just telling me how the winds are between the two. And as of right now, I'm getting about winds upwards to 50 miles per hour. So there is some area of rotation trying to get going. Right here, we can confirm this. Let's put a marker on this real fast, and we can confirm this between the area of rotations here. So you can see that right there. It's right between the two. So that's where your area of rotation is trying to get going down here along Highway 15, just southwest of El Dorado at this current time here. So take your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to any outside as possible. Get to the lowest area of your home immediately. And I said before, I know I got a lot of people kind of trying to contact me over my personal and stuff like that. Guys, I'm on here. I'm doing live streams right now for this area here, but that's the biggest thing I want to stress right now. If you know anybody in El Dorado, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. Now, there's newest update. There's the area of rotation right here coming into Three Creeks at this time, and it's going to continue to move to the northeast coming into downtown El Dorado. So El Dorado, you have that time. It's about 12:57 right now. Let's put a new track on this real quick so we can give you guys a better timing on there. But you can easily see where the area of rotation is, where your red and green combine as one. There's where your area of rotation is, and we're going to take this and we're going to move it to the northeast. I'm going to put it about 30 miles per hour at this point. There it is. So El Dorado, it's going to be right on top of you after the top of the hour, if not sooner. Take your tornado precautions immediately. Callion, up here in northeastern Union County going into Bradley County. Take your tornado precautions now. Don't wait for it to come to you. You're not under the warning polygon as of now. Don't wait for it. Don't try to wait until it's confirmed or anything like that. Take your tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. So what we're seeing here, let's take a look. We've got 40 incoming and we've got 40 outcoming. So the combined would be near 80 miles per hour, which would be supportive of a weak tornado down here in southwestern Union County coming towards the El Dorado area here. So if you know anybody in this area, they need to be seeking your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to unity outside as possible. Get to the lowest area of your home immediately. I cannot stress that enough at this current time here, okay? So watch this closely. We're going to continue to monitor the situation closely as well, and I want to urge you guys as well across the rest of the state. Let's zoom this out, and let's go back to our regular radar at this point. No other warnings across the state. Central Arkansas, there's no warnings. Western Arkansas, there's no warnings. Northern Arkansas, there's no warnings. Only areas in the state right now that are seeing the tornado warnings are across southern and eastern and southeastern Arkansas. And one particular at this moment is in Union County. So just kind of keep that in mind across the board, kind of give you guys a reassurance at this time here. But if you know anybody, anyone in El Dorado right now, or even trying to come to El Dorado from Little Rock down to El Dorado, if they're on that 167 highway coming from Fordyce down to El Dorado, they need to be seeking shelter immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to unity outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to go over to what we call our debris indicator, which kind of gives us a visualization if there's any any debris being indicated or being lofted up in the atmosphere. And luckily right now, based on what we have the area of rotation indicated, which would be right here, let's go ahead and pull our marker up. Right now I'm not seeing any sort of debris being lofted up or anything like that, which is awesome news. But don't let your guard down. Don't wait for this thing to drop or anything like that before you take it seriously. If you know anybody on 15 right now, 82, this is going to come right into 82. I know Line Oil is down there along that highway. We've got the high school, El Dorado High School down here as well. If you know anybody in those areas that need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately, if you're a school administrator, especially for our folks down there in El Dorado High School, get your kids to safety. Get them to safety. Take that tornado precaution right now here at this point. That's where the area of rotation is going to be right there along Highway 15, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. And it's going to move into downtown El Dorado here. A lot of schools in session right now across El Dorado. If you're a school administrator, go ahead and get those kiddos to safety at this point. And I know there's going to be a lot of concerned parents down here as well. Do not risk going to get your kid at this point. I promise you they are good to go. I come from El Dorado myself. They have an amazing program down there. They do the tornado protocols down there as well. I promise you, you are good to go. But you got to think about your safety first here, guys. Do not take this lightly. You need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately here. So this is what we've got at this point. There's the area of rotation. Let's move this up a little bit so you guys can kind of see the newest updates. Still right there on Highway 15 at this current time. So you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately here. And thank you, Cam, for that. We have a new tornado watch that's going to be inbound here in just a little bit. Give me 1 second. Let me double check on everything right now here. So if y'all having any technical issues, let me know as well. I think we're good to go in terms of that. But we do have a new tornado watch that's going to be inbound here just shortly here. I'll have more information on that coming up here in a little bit. But as of right now, this is taking priority. This is where our focus is going to be right now. So this is going to be in Union County. This is a tornado warning for downtown El Dorado, and it's going to go until 1:15 this afternoon. And if you know anyone in these areas they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to you the outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately at this current point. So, like I said before, we're going to continue to kind of monitor everything. Right now, as it stands, I'm not seeing any other, damage reports or anything like that, which is amazing news. But I will say this, for our folks in northeastern Louisiana, much of eastern Arkansas, northwestern Mississippi, and far southwestern Tennessee, you need to be watching the situation closely. We are expecting a new tornado watch to be issued. 80% on that tornado watch. Tornado watch is likely for those areas here. We're going to get more information about that here just shortly here. But as I mentioned before, this is where that tornado warning is going to be. I'm going to lead this up to kind of give you guys a perspective. And what I'm going to do for just a bit is I'm going to update the track, because I do believe this is fixing to get ready to come into downtown El Dorado a lot quicker than what we're seeing on here. So what we're going to do is do this. Average rotations right there. We're going to put a track. I'm going to clock it right around 35 miles per hour here. I think 35 miles per hour is a really good call for this particular one. And there it is right there. So El Dorado, you've got 20 minutes. You've got 20 minutes to seek your tornado precautions immediately. The Callion area, you have right around that 120 area at this point. Take those tornado precautions immediately. Don't wait for it to come to you or anything like that. Take those tornado precautions now. So let's see here. So I'm looking at the new mesoscale discussion. It's going to go for our folks in Ashley and Chico County, the rest of eastern Arkansas, much of western Mississippi, and northeastern Louisiana. A tornado watch is now likely, 80%. The ongoing severe threats expected to continue eastward this afternoon. Downstream watch is likely here. So the biggest thing is primary threats should include a few tornadoes and isolated damaging wind gusts, many associated with any embedded supercells or more intense multi vortices within the broader line itself. So basically what that means is be a QLCS threat, very brief, those briefs. Basically what we're seeing down here, these brief spin-up tornadoes will be possible, especially for folks in eastern Arkansas. So we'll have more information about that coming up here in a little bit. Storm Prediction Center is working hard to get those updates out as quickly as possible. But while they're working on that, we're going to work on this and show you guys what's going on with this at this point. So to kind of reiterate everything, downtown El Dorado, just continue to keep an eye on the sky. Right now at this point, so before, I'm not seeing any indication of any damage or anything like that, which I want to urge. We don't get damage reports until after it happens, and sometimes that can be delayed. So that's going to be the biggest thing. Also, let's take a look at your debris indicator. No sign of debris being indicated at this point. Just trying to check everything right now here. I'm not seeing much in terms of the National Weather Service, which is good news at this point. Still continuing as a radar indicated rotation. The tornado warning for southeastern Columbia County has been dropped, but the one in Union County continues until 1:15 here. So it's going to be kind of a little bit of a stressful situation down there in El Dorado right now. If you know anybody in those areas, they need to be taking those tornado precautions immediately at this point. Let's zoom this out and show you guys what we've got. So those storms are coming into southern Arkansas. This is where let me see if I can get this up. I do believe it should have loaded by now. Let's take a look at the new mesoscale discussion from our folks at Storm Prediction Center here. So this one's right here. This is just ongoing for the tornado watch from this morning. And then this is where your other tornado watch here. Now I want to stress to you guys, much of this area here is already under a watch. Let's go over to this real quick. There's the ongoing watch at this point. So it's probably going to kind of make its way into northeastern Arkansas, maybe the Jonesboro area up here, down in Memphis, down towards southeastern Arkansas, the Ashley and Chico County area. Basically the area I drew out earlier. That's going to be the area you have to watch closely. Okay, all right, so we have a new tornado warning down there in Louisiana. That's along I-20. That's not concerning us, but we still have that one tornado warning down here. But just kind of give you guys a perspective, downstream from here, down here in eastern Arkansas, we will have to watch the situation very, very closely here over the next couple of hours here as we get towards this afternoon and into this evening here. Now, let's go back down to this real quick. I'm going to leave it on here. This is the only tornado warning in this state. I want to stress that. This is the only tornado warning in the state at this current time here. There's the track. El Dorado is going to be right on top of you over the next 20 minutes. I'm going to check Twitter real fast here, making sure we're not seeing any sort of debris or anything like that here. But this is a very strong cell coming in. And I will say this. It will be possible that there could be a tornado on the ground already doing damage. And we're just not seeing it at this point. So if you know anyone in downtown El Dorado, they need to be taking their shelters immediately. Get away from windows, Put as many walls to Union outside as possible. Get to the lowest area of your home immediately at this current time here. Okay, so what we're doing is I'm looking at the overall base velocity at this time. Also, Cam made a good point. There's also a confirmed tornado down there near Shreveport right now. So that's why I'm saying you got to watch these storms very closely. The wind shear starting to increase, and that's where the tornado threat is going to continue throughout the afternoon hours here. So for our folks in El Dorado, as I mentioned before, what's that? Okay, in Louisiana. Okay, all right. So that one's down there. There's the area of rotation right there on Highway 15, moving northeast towards the El Dorado area. So if you know anybody in those areas, they need to be seeking shelter immediately. I cannot stress that enough. Don't wait for it to come to you. Don't wait for it to be confirmed or anything like that. You need to be taking those tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. So I'm double checking everything right now. That area of rotation is definitely there. And there could be a tornado on the ground, or it could be occurring at any moment coming into downtown El Dorado. So you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. So the tornado warning for northern Claiborne Parish has been canceled. Tornado warning for Union County now. So this is now mainly a Union County storm. At this point, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Weston, or 7 miles southwest of El Dorado, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour here. So the potential for a tornado is there. El Dorado, you've got 10 minutes or less before it's on top of you. Northland, you've got about 15 minutes before it's on top of you. If you know anyone that is in downtown, I'm talking the entire town of downtown El Dorado, not specific areas or anything. This is going to go for the entire town of downtown El Dorado. You need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately at this time here. Now, let's zoom this down. And as I said before, there's the area of rotation right in here. And what I'm going to do, that's Shreveport's radar. I'm going to switch it over just briefly to Little Rock's radar, and I want to see what's going on down here with this area of rotation here. So it's going to be right in here because I do believe it's getting out of Shreveport's area, and it's going to be making its way into Union County here. So give it just a second. It should be loading up here just a little bit. But let's take a look at that real quickly here. There's the radar, by the way, and there's the area of rotation right in here. It's going to move northeast towards El Dorado. So if you know one of those areas, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately here. Now, there's the area of rotation right in here. All right, and I would say it's broad now. It's not as intense as it was when it was down there in southwestern Union County earlier on coming out of Louisiana. Doesn't mean squat. Still tornado warning in place. You still need to take those tornado precautions immediately at this point. Anybody in downtown El Dorado, Highway 82, that's El Dorado High School's out here. You've got Timberlane Drive over here. You got Highway 82, Cedar Street, Highway 167 over here, Highway 167. This is moving it's moving northeast at 40 miles per hour at this point. So take your tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. And I will say downstream from there, this is going to go right along Highway 63, moving into Union County. If you know anyone in Callion or south of Callion at this point, they need to be taking their tornado precautions. And I will say downstream from there in Bradley County, near the Hermitage area, once again, you need to watch the storm closer. It's going to continue to move on towards northeast at 40 miles per hour. So the tornado warning still remains in effect at this point. We do have a new update for the tornado watch. Little Rock is now out of the tornado watch here, along with Faulkner, Hot Springs, Saline counties at this point. El Dorado, Fordyce, Pine Bluff, up to Searcy, still under the tornado watch until 4 o'clock this afternoon. But I want to kind of reiterate for our folks in Central Arkansas, you are now out of the tornado watch at this point. Those areas in eastern Arkansas, be aware that a new tornado watch may be needed by the time we get towards later this afternoon here. But to kind of repeat, for our folks in central Arkansas and stuff like that, the tornado watch has now been canceled. You're good to go. You can carry on with the rest of your afternoon here. But for our folks in southern and eastern Arkansas, continue to stay weather aware for today here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over to our reflectivity here, and there it is right there. And I will say this. The El Dorado storm is now being ingested within the line, which will help kind of mitigate the tornado potential. It will really help kind of decrease the rotation and everything like that. So that's really good news. However, I will say this, continue to monitor the progression of this storm. If you're in El Dorado, nothing has been confirmed. I want to stress that too. Nothing's been confirmed on the ground or anything like that at this point. I want to stress that. However, for our folks in Union County at this point, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to uni outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately at this point. So that's so forth. This is what we're going to continue to monitor until 1:15. Let's zoom this out. We do have other areas of the state we're going to have to watch. And you can see down here in North Louisiana, anyone on Interstate 20 right now, if you have family members down there on Interstate 20, we do have a confirmed tornado down here just to the east of Shreveport right now. And it's going to continue to move on towards the east at about 40 miles per hour here. But these storms are moving northeast here in Arkansas. Tornado warning still remains in effect at 1:15. We do have a special weather statement up here in southeastern Arkansas. I will continue to monitor this because this area of concern could start getting going here in just a little bit as well. Same areas, Cleveland County, Lincoln County, up towards Bradley County as well here. But there's the area of rotation with this one. We're going to continue to monitor it. Right now, as it stands, I haven't heard a single report. Let me confirm something real quick with Blaze. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to confirm something with him real fast and trying to make sure we don't have any other reports coming in at this point. But right now, the tornado warning still remains in effect for our folks down here in El Dorado at this current time here. So it's good news that we haven't heard anything, but that doesn't mean anything. You still need to take your tornado precautions immediately at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear the track off for this. And what I'm going to do for just a bit is I'm going to switch this over to Shreveport's radar. I'm going to switch it over to Shreveport's radar real quick and kind of take a look and see what's going on with the rotation here, because I think Shreveport has a better visual versus Little Rock at this point. So there's area of rotation here, not as tight as it was before. The area of rotation is not as defined as it was before. It's starting to get more elongated. It's starting to get more broadened out, which is awesome news for our folks in El Dorado. Tornado warning still remains in effect, but as I said before, this is awesome news for our folks in El Dorado. The area of rotation is not as pronounced as it was before as it was making its approach towards those areas, but still monitor it very, very closely here. Don't get out of your shelters or anything like that. Wait till this storm, even if the tornado warning gets canceled, wait till the storm passes before you get out of the shelters, just to be on the safe side, just in case this thing tries to produce one at this point. Also, this is going over Parker's Chapel as well down here in southwestern Arkansas. I forgot to mention that earlier. But let's put a track on this real quick. This is the brand new track that's coming out. It's going to go right over downtown El Dorado. We're going to zoom this out, put it at about, I'd say, 35 miles per hour. Will be pretty good here. This is going to go right for El Dorado within the next, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes. Callion, you have a little bit more time with this. I think this has slowed down a little bit because it is getting ingested along the line at this point here. Okay, so haven't heard any reports with the storms in Union County, but I do want to confirm something for our folks down there in North Louisiana on I-20. There has been confirmed damage from the Shreveport storm, and I do believe that is tornado damage at this point here. So far, still pretty good across the area. We're gonna keep you guys updated. Now, I will say this for our folks in northeastern Arkansas, dependent on where that warm front gets, things should stay relatively stable up there. But I do believe eastern and southeastern Arkansas will be the gameplay for today across the board. But there's the area of concern still right here, and just looking at it right now from both Little Rock and Shreveport's radar, it is not as defined as it was before. Stay where you are if you're in El Dorado. Don't get out or anything like that. Stay where you are. Let this storm pass over you. It's still capable of producing a tornado at any given moment. But at this moment, the area of rotation doesn't look as pronounced as it did before. We can go back to our rotation here and show you what we mean by that. And you can see as it was coming out of southwestern Union County, the area of rotation was definitely there. But you can see as it's making the approach to El Dorado, it's kind of broadened out. The area of rotation is starting to die out, which is great news at this point. So just looking at Twitter right now, I'm not seeing any sort of reports or anything like that, which is awesome. Areas along I-30, the tornado watch has been canceled for our folks in Central Arkansas, so we're good to go. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops here at Arkansas Weather Watchers. Our coverage continues until all 75 counties are no longer under the tornado watch here. So keep that in mind across the board. But you can see how the area of rotation here. Let's go back, and you can see what's going on. So as it's coming out of northwestern Louisiana, let me make sure you guys can see it on y'all's end. Right here, as it was coming out of northwestern Louisiana, you could definitely see where the area of rotation was as it was coming out from northwestern Louisiana. And then as soon as it got close to the El Dorado area. The area of rotation just kind of broadened out, which is great news at this point. And then there it is right there. So the tornado warning still remains in effect. I do believe they're getting ready to drop it because of the fact that the area of rotation has kind of died off. The area of rotation got caught up in the line, and it's now fading out. So that's good news. However, stay where you are. Let this storm pass over you. And then once that is the case, once you get on the backside of this storm, you should be good to go. And we're going to continue to monitor the progress of this storm as it moves off towards northeast, towards the Calhoun, the Bradley County area, and eventually try to make its way towards Drew County down the road from here. And as I mentioned before, other areas across the state, we're good to go at this current time here. So we're going to continue the live stream going until that tornado warning is off the board. The threat for a couple of tornadoes still remains in place across much of southern Arkansas at this current time here. At this point, I'm not seeing any reports of it being on the ground or anything like that, which is awesome news at this time here, but it doesn't mean squat for our folks down here in southern Arkansas, and especially in the Union County area. That tornado warning doesn't mean anything. Still take those tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. So let me double check everything at this time here. Let me see. Go ahead and take a look at everything right now. I think we're good to go in terms of the reports or anything like that, which is awesome news. Just hearing about the Shreveport storm down there in terms of the confirmed damage, but I haven't heard any damage reports or anything like that out of Union County right now, which is amazing news. If y'all have anything in terms of reports or anything like that, if you can do it safely, I mean, if you're out of the path and everything like that, then if you have any reports of damage or anything like that, please contact us so we can get that information to the National Weather Service here. But right now, as it stands, in terms of the overall presentation of the radar, I do believe this tornado warning is probably fixing to get ready to be dropped. Doesn't mean you need to let your guard down. Let this storm pass over you before you get out of your shelters. Even if the tornado warning gets canceled, you need to stay where you are just to be on the safe side, because these storms will be capable of producing those brief tornadoes, and sometimes those tornadoes can go unwarned. So make sure you're taking those tornado precautions down here in downtown El Dorado right now. And it's kind of a chaotic situation down there in El Dorado. I can imagine with it being lunch, tornado warning gets issued and stuff like that here. But the biggest thing is, take those tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. And it's going to continue to move out towards northeast, towards the Calhoun area. And then this will eventually make its way towards Bradley County within the next, I'd say, 15 to 20 minutes here. But tornado warning still remains in effect. Let me double check on Discord real fast. Not seeing any other confirmed reports. Let's go over to our other server real quick in terms of current reports right now. Not seeing anything at this point, which is awesome news at this time. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now here. I'm also getting a lot of reports of damage coming out from Waldo and the Columbia County from that storm from earlier. I'm seeing a lot of reports of damage coming from that as well. And also one more thing here, I haven't had a chance to update our power outage map. We are now up to over 1,900 customers without power at this point here. So that's going to get updated as of right now. So give me 1 second to get that updated for you guys here. But the biggest thing is, for those down there in Union County and El Dorado area, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. The tornado warning is still going to continue until 1:15 this afternoon here. So that's going to be the biggest thing. Let's take a look at elsewhere across the state right now. Special weather statement for those up there. No severe warnings at this point. So this is the only warning in the entire state of Arkansas right now outside of that special weather statement, which is great news. I said before, we weren't expecting this to be a massive severe weather day, but we're still monitoring the situation very closely at this time here. So there's a lot of storms coming into El Dorado right now. It's going to get loud. There's going to be a lot of heavy rainfall, a lot of gusty winds coming into downtown El Dorado right now. Cloud and ground lightning could be possible as well. These storms are quickly moving out towards the east. And I will say this, since it got caught up in the line and is now moving east versus northeast at this point, just kind of giving you guys a perspective here, because you can see the line is moving east, but there was an isolated supercell that came up from northwestern Louisiana. Those are the storms that you got to watch all day long today for that tornado potential. But along the line itself, any area of rotation may get going. We'll keep an eye on that. But it's mainly going to be a damaging wind threat with this as it pushes into El Dorado. But don't leave your shelters. That's the biggest thing. Stay where you are. Let this tornado warning drop. Let these storms coming out of El Dorado go away at this point, and then we should be good to go here. Now, I do have some more damage reports coming in. This is going to come out of Louisville, Arkansas, which is, I do believe, down in southwest Arkansas. Tree reported down, near the intersection of 313 and County Road 18 at this current time here. So we are getting some damage reports coming out of southwestern Arkansas, and that's what we've been stressing to you guys all day about the severe threat here, okay? So tornado warning still continues to 115. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom this out to you guys kind of perspective of what's going on. There's some more storms coming out of eastern and northeastern Texas, northwestern Louisiana. These storms are going to move into southern and southeastern Arkansas as the day progresses. I would not be shocked to see some additional rainfall continue for our folks over here in western and southwestern Arkansas, but the severe threat, the tornado threat, the damaging wind threat, the hail threat is now low across southwestern Arkansas. You're done over there in southwest. It's now shifting into eastern and the southeastern Arkansas at this current time. So they're going to continue the tornado warning at this point. Let me get in contact with Blaze. He's one of our moderators on Discord, and see if they're going to continue the tornado warning at this point here. So give me 1 second. Let me double check on that real fast and see if they're going to continue the tornado warning at this time here. So I do believe they're going to continue the warning until 1:15. I think they're just going to let it expire at this point. Would be shocked to see if they coordinated a severe thunderstorm warning for this one as well. I do believe they're going to continue it until 1:15 at this current time here. But 7-4, for our folks in El Dorado, don't let your guard down. Let this storm pass over you at this point. Once it gets out of the area, you should be good to go. Anybody that's on Highway 63, Highway 167, Highway 82 as well, and also Highway 167 over here, you need to be taking your tornado precautions as well. Highway 167 going from El Dorado to Junction City, for the tornado potential, you should be good to go. But for the damaging wind potential, the high wind potential with this line of storms, you still have that threat. So keep that in mind. Until these storms pass over you, you're going to have that severe threat at this time here, okay? So everybody in the comments is saying that there was a reported tornado in El Dorado. Like I said before, and that's the biggest thing. If y'all have any reports, let us know. Because on my side over here, I'm not seeing anything being reported officially from the National Weather Service or anything like that. So if y'all have anything, let us know so we can kind of get in contact with National Weather Service here. But officially, I'm not seeing anything in terms of anything being on the ground at this current time here. So we're going to continue to monitor it very closely. And that's the biggest thing I want to stress to you guys right now. Treat this as if it were on the ground. Treat it as if it were on the ground. Don't wait for it to be confirmed or anything like that. You need to stay where you are, regardless if it's on the ground or not, because there's still a tornado warning in place here. So they're saying there's a confirmed reported tornado in El Dorado. As I said before, I'm just looking at everything right now. At this point, I'm not seeing anything official coming from the National Weather Service or anything like that. So that's why a lot of streams are going to continue at this point. But regardless if it's confirmed or not, you need to stay where you are. You don't need to be getting out, trying to confirm it or anything like that. You need to be getting into shelters immediately. That's the biggest thing here. So this is coming from Zachary Hall, one of our great friends. He has, Zachary Hall, Arkansas Storm Tracker page on Facebook. Tornado warning storm moving into El Dorado. Sirens are blaring in the city at this current time here. At this point, he hasn't said anything about it being on the ground, but you still need to take your tornado precautions immediately at this point. I'm going to take a look at his image real fast here, just kind of looking at everything here. I can definitely see the wall cloud. There's definitely a wall cloud with that storm right now here, but as of right now, I'm not seeing any sign of it being on the ground or anything like that here, but that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. I want to stress that right now. You need to go ahead and take your tornado precautions. If you're in El Dorado, you should have been and done it by now. You need to take your tornado precautions. Immediately the sirens are going off, and I love the sirens going off down there at El Dorado. That really helps out in terms of coverage and everything like that here. But you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. Now, I will say, downstream from here, Callion over towards Hermitage, you guys are not in a warning as of now. But this storm, if confirmed, does have a history of producing a brief tornado. So if we can get that going into and going through Union County, that's going to make its way into Bradley County. So Bradley County, you need to watch the storm closely as it continues to move off towards northeast here. But downtown El Dorado, you need to be taking your tornado cautions. And then here's the thing: looking at the latest scan, area of rotation is still here. It is just to the east of El Dorado right now. Stay where you are. Do not go outdoors. Don't try to go out or anything like that. Stay where you are. Stay in shelter at this time. Let these storms go over your area before you try to go out and about. Do not get out at this point, just in case this thing drops a tornado during this process. So keep that in mind across the board. But there's a lot of storms coming in right into El Dorado right now. And as I mentioned before, just looking at everything at this point, I can definitely see that area of rotation coming out of southwestern Union County up into El Dorado. And if there were to be one, if there were to be a confirmed one, I know where the track was from Highway 15 up into El Dorado here. We were urging you guys the entire time. Yes, the broader rotation was starting to weaken. Doesn't mean anything, folks, okay? You still got to take those tornado precautions even if the warning gets canceled, because this storm itself is dangerous. It's a very dangerous storm. It is capable of producing a brief tornado, so keep that in mind here. It may get dropped or anything, but it doesn't mean anything. So they're going to continue to, I believe they're going to continue this until 1:15. I would be interested to see if they're going to put a downstream one for our folks, the rest of the folks in Union County and over towards Bradley County here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And then once this gets out of the way, there's now another area of concern coming out of northwestern Louisiana. That's going to make its way into Columbia and in Union County here. So a very stormy afternoon coming in for our folks down here in El Dorado. But at this current time, you need to stay where you are. I know it's lunch and stuff like that, and a lot of people are trying to get back to work. You need to stay where you are. You need to stay where you are right now until this tornado warning has been canceled. And once these line of storms have pushed through your area, you should be good to go here. But let's take a look at everything right now. I'm using Streetport's radar. Little Rock, I think, is a little bit outrange, but I think Streetport has the better visual. And let's take a look at our rotation indicator at this point. So this is where, if there were to be one, right over here on the east side of El Dorado at this point, high winds coming in El Dorado right now, gusty winds, heavy rainfall. It sounds incredibly stormy going in El Dorado right now. But this is where the area of rotation would be right through here. And what we can do is we can loop this the entire time, and you can see where the area of rotation kind of came up. So you can see it took that track from Highway 15 up into El Dorado here. And there's area of rotation as it stands right now, which is on the east side of El Dorado. So if it were to be one, it went through the south side of El Dorado and is now going east of El Dorado at this point. High winds continuing across the area. We're keeping an eye on power outages as well. But at this current time here, I haven't heard a single report about it being on the ground. By the way, power outages are now up to 2,000. We'll get that updated here shortly here, okay? So that was in Louisiana, reported tornado down there. Outside of that, I'm not seeing any other reports of confirmed tornadoes or anything like that. And I'm talking officially, by the way, not unofficial reports. I'm talking official, coming straight from the National Weather Service. I'm not seeing anything in terms of that right now here. Now, I do have some video that I'm seeing on Twitter at this point. I'm going to take a look at that real quickly here. And give me 1 second. We'll see if I can get this up here. But I do definitely see the wall cloud, the area of rotation right through here. But right now, as it stands, no confirmed tornado has been reported, which is amazing news at this time here. But I'm going to mention this a million times. Don't let your guard down here in this area here for the El Dorado area. You need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. But there's the area of rotation right through here. Okay, it's on the southeast side of El Dorado right now, and it's going to continue to move on towards northeast here. So I'd say any interest on 63, 167 going into Bradley County, I would say go ahead and have that tornado precaution mindset. That way, if anything occurs, we will be here. But something that we'll keep an eye on as we get closer in time here, okay? But the biggest thing is we'll keep an eye on the situation here. And let me see here. Let me double check everything right now here. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything in terms of that right now. But at this point, we've got a tornado warning in place for our folks in Union County at this time here. You need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows. Put as many walls to uni eyesight as possible and get to the lowest area of your home immediately here. And if I do go quiet for a second, guys, I do apologize. I'm double checking everything to make sure there's no confirmed tornadoes or anything like that. Also getting in contact with friends and family as well, just kind of make sure they're good to go. And I do believe we're fine, but there's the area of rotation right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom this down, and we're going to put it right here. Okay, let me see. It's going to be right in here. There's going to be the area of rotation right there. Just the east side of El Dorado right now. It's going to move northeast within time here. So what we're going to do here, and I know everybody's kind of asking, put a track on it and everything like that here. It's going to move northeast. Let's put a track on this real fast here. And let's do this. It's going to be right here. Let me see if I can get this going. See if I can get this going real quick. Okay, so it's not going to work with me, so we're going to do that. Okay. All right, so radar's going to come back up here just shortly. There it is. The area of rotation is going to be right in here. It's going to move it to the northeast. I'm going to clock it about 40. It's clocking about 40 miles per hour right towards Hermitage at this point. So that's going to be the area of concern right through here. And I wouldn't be shocked just down the road from here if they did let this tornado warning go. But we'll keep an eye on it at this current time here. But right now, there's the area of concern at this point. Let me double check Discord right now. Storm looks linear at this point, which is, like I said, amazing news. We got away with this without any significant damage or any confirmed tornadoes or anything like that down here in Union County. But as I said before, I haven't heard anything officially. I haven't heard anything at all. So that takes time to come through and everything like that. So we'll keep an eye on it. But I do see the photos. I do see the videos coming in. Zach, thank you for the photo, man. Joel Rawson, he's on Twitter, seeing the video as well. So as I said before, tornado warning still remains in effect for the next 5 minutes. I do believe I know what they're getting ready to do. It's probably either going to be an extension of the tornado warning that's going to go for Calhoun and Bradley County, or there's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning that's going to go like this. And it's going to include these areas down here. So I would say keep an eye on it for our folks over here in Union, Bradley, Ashley, and over towards Calhoun County. Calhoun County. I got tongue-tied for a second. Calhoun County down here, and southern Arkansas. Just something that we'll keep an eye on as time progresses here. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom back down to the storm real quickly here. This is the only storm in Arkansas of concern. Other areas across the state, it's going to get loud. There's a lot of thunderstorms moving through. But at this particular moment, we should be good to go here. So I do believe, let me double check on something real fast. Let me see here. And I'm waiting for Blaze to give me a confirmation because he has National Weather Service chat and stuff like that. So we're good to go. But I want to say for our folks in eastern and southeastern Arkansas, stay weather aware. But for everybody in Little Rock, points west, western Arkansas, southwest, southwest, northwest, and northern Arkansas, you're good to go. But in northeastern Arkansas, from Jonesboro all the way down to West Memphis, all the way down to Lake Village down here in Ashley and Chico County, stay weather aware for today. The conditions are still favorable of seeing tornadoes across the board here, okay? And I'm also waiting to see what they're going to do with this upcoming tornado watch for our folks in eastern Arkansas here. So the tornado warning still remains in effect for our folks in El Dorado. Double checking everything right now. Let me double check on something real fast here. Let me see here. I think we're good to go in terms of everything right now. Let's see before. I think we're good. And not seeing anything in terms of damage or anything like that, which is amazing news. But as I mentioned before, stay where you are. Take your tornado precautions for the next couple of minutes. And then what's going to happen is this warning is going to expire. And El Dorado is going to be good because a line of storms is moving out of the El Dorado area right now. So you're good to go at this point once this line of storms moves through the area. Wait, be patient. I know everybody's trying to get back to work and stuff like that, but be patient with it, folks. We promise you guys we're trying to give you the all clear as quick as possible. We want to do it accurately as well. So Highway 167, Highway 63 over here, the tornado warning is still continuing. I do believe, let me double check something real fast here, okay? So I haven't seen a new update from it just as of now. I do believe they're going to let it drop at 115 here. So we're going to stay on for just a little while longer. El Dorado, just stay where you are for a little while longer. I do believe the tornadic part of the storm has passed El Dorado. So I do believe you're good to go in these areas. The tornado part is probably going to be right up here, south of Calhoun, northeast of El Dorado at this current point. So I do believe you're good to go at this time here. So if you're in downtown El Dorado, you should be good now. The line of storms has pushed through. We are going to continue to monitor this area of rotation and see if it kind of redevelops or anything like that over here in eastern Union County. But for El Dorado, I'm going to go ahead, sound y'all clear at this point. The tornado warning is going to be dropping within the next couple of minutes. I think you guys are good down in El Dorado in terms of the tornado potential. But the severe weather, the storms that are still ongoing right now, still continue to monitor that at this point. We're watching these other storms coming out of northwestern Louisiana coming into Union County as well. We'll have to watch for a potential flooding threat that may try to set up down here as well, just depending on it just tries to train over the same areas. But as of now, the tornadic part of the storm has passed over El Dorado. So El Dorado, you've got my all clear. You're good to go at this point. So what we're going to do, that tornado warning, by the way, it's going to be gone in the next minute or so. And I'm not seeing where they may potentially try to extend the tornado warning. So I'm not seeing that at this point, which is great news. So while that's being the case, let's zoom this out, give you guys a perspective on what we're looking at. Okay, so tornado warning down there in Union County. It's going to be gone in the next minute. Line of storms right through here. This is where the concern will be for the next couple of hours here. And I will say this, for our folks up here in northeastern Arkansas, the Jonesboro area, if this continues, you're going to be good to go for the severe threat. I think your severe threat will be much greater from the I-40 corridor point south from there. That's going to include much of this area at this point. Tornado warning's gone, by the way, for Union County, so we're good to go at this point. I think your severe threats are much greater down here in southeastern Arkansas. And I know southeastern Arkansas, you've seen a lot over the last couple of events with all the severe weather down here, the Montrose tornado and everything. But if this continues up here, you're going to be good, because that's a lot of heavy rainfall moving through. It's helping to stabilize the environment, and it's going to keep everything at bay. Watch it close. We'll keep an eye on it up there, but I do believe your best threat is going to be south of I-40 at this current point. But we'll continue to keep you guys updated. That's all I got at this current time here. Let me double check and make sure at this point, Zachary, he's on that storm. Let me double check and see. Let me check his video real fast at this time here. And yeah, there was a pretty solid storm. There's a wall cloud with that storm as it was getting ready to make it into El Dorado here. But they have dropped a tornado warning. Tornado warning has been allowed to be canceled. So we are going to get off the air for just a little bit. We're going to monitor the situation closely. I do want to address one thing. They have put a special weather statement down here in southern Arkansas to kind of replace that tornado warning. It's going to go from wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. So we're good to go. For those folks in Union County, you can come out of your shelters. Everything can go back as normal. And if anything occurs, we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here, your source for all things Arkansas weather.